Right, folks. The final part, my tattoo story. Part 2, 3, and I think part 2 and 3 have been really boring. I apologise. It's the way it is. Part 4 is emotional for me because my final tattoo, which I will recount, is 9 years old, not 8, 9. So that was my last tattoo, my big one. Some of you, if not most of you, have seen this tattoo before, but I will share it nonetheless. It is this one here, the big one around the sides. That's why I know these bits hurt, because that fucking nipped around the back there. That one was inspired by my friend, who I mentioned in episode 1, or part 1, called Barry. It's not his real name, it's to protect the identity, although I don't know why I'm protecting the identity, because he's no longer with us. So, part 4. The reason I got this tattoo was in his memory, sort of. We lost touch for like a year or so during the time I was at college, and his side of thing, his life moved on, my life moved on. We still lived in the same area, we still talked from time to time, but we were never really best mates as much as when we were at school, when we used to hang out all the time. So college was in the go. I just turned 18. We're talking 2004 now, kind of like January 2004, so it just turned 2004. And I had some problems. I had some real bad problems, depression, generally failing really badly at college, and basically messing up my life to begin with due to depression. And I kind of like just collapse. I just have some kind of weird breakdown, pretty much, you know, right after Christmas, really, right after New Year. I literally just break, and I end up in the local unit, as it was called, the unit, which is basically a mental health facility, where I spent like 3 weeks just being a nutter, really, would be the best way to describe it. I was on all kinds of weird meds and generally in a very unpleasant place in my life, which I have no problem talking about now because I'm over it. But during this time, my friend Barry, he died, would be the best way to, the only way I can put it, to be honest. I think, I can't remember exactly when it was, because it was during that time that I was just high on prescriptive medication, and I didn't really know what anything was going on, really. And literally during that time, because like I was old best mates, you know, I was called and said, you know, we found Barry, he's dead, come over, basically. So I went to his house and I sat in his front room with his mum and his stepdad, and literally just sat there and just completely numb. I didn't feel anything. I was just so kind of dead inside due to all the drugs and all, just general unknowing, just numbness, which is a common feeling when you're doped up on prescriptive medication. And it took me a long time to really understand what had happened. I'm not going to go into any details about how it happened. Let's just say it was accidental. There was no one involved that could have done anything about it. It was just one of those things that happened, and it was life, and everyone got on from it except for me, really. So literally within a couple of weeks after the funeral, I decided to myself that my next and probably last tattoo that I'll ever get would be a big one, and it would be in his memory. Now, there's nothing about it that would strike which, you know, that has anything really to do with him. It's all my influence is the reason why I chose it. But the reason why I got it was because it reminded me of him and how I just felt numb pretty much the whole time the shit was going. So it's taught me never to forget what had happened, and I don't think I'll ever forget, even if I had a tattoo or not, but that's not the point. So that is the reason behind that tattoo, probably the biggest reason of them all. That's it. I don't plan to have any other tattoos unless I miraculously have a child through having immaculate conception or whatever it is, and men can have children. I don't mean that in a gay way. I mean that in a single, I am lonely sort of way. Not desperate though. Not desperate. Not desperate. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any comments, please keep them civil, because this is the wrong time to be flippant and rude. Goodbye.